10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff.
Yes, it is summertime. And occasionally we're here. More inside jokes on that one line than I've got active brain cells. Of course, I'm worried about that count after the last week. Want to say greetings, good evening, how you doing? 2 minutes after 9 in the Central Time Zone, 2 minutes after 7 on the West Coast on this 5th day of July. Welcome to the Shooters Gallery on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network and ProWrestlingRadio.net. In the ever-evolving sauna known as Studio One, I am Fast Study Layne, being joined by tag team partner from the Peach State, Shane Noles.
It is raining cats and dogs in my current location, so a nice reprise from the sauna.
Welcoming in tag team partner, the president of wrestling, Phil Stamper.
Pew pew.
Are we still on that Star Wars kick?
No, you said Shooters Gallery, and whenever I know this is called the Shooters Gallery, but whenever you introduce it, my brain goes, pew pew.
Okay, we'll go with that. Welcoming in tag team partner from way, but not all the way out far west, the voice Ted Guinness.
I'm playing Fortnite.
Oh, there's a line I would like to use right now, but
what's with the crack in the sky, dude?
Dude, I don't know, but all I can tell you is that Retail Road and Tomato Town are about to get sucked off the map. And I just got a trap.
And Lonely Lodge and Junk Junction.
Oh, I haven't been to Lonely yet, and I know this week's challenges are collect 7 chests from Junk, so I'm staying the far away from that as possible until everyone gets their things out of the way so that I can go without getting killed.
Right. You're speaking Greek in that particular regard. Fortnite, I know it's a popular game. I know. I've just not gotten around to playing it. My PS4 is actually about to sue me for neglect because I have not even broken out Injustice or Madden in the last 7 weeks.
Well, Injustice is overrated. I'll just throw that out right there. I think Injustice was overrated. But speaking of Madden, since you're talking about that, my roommate and I have actually been working on a series that we're going to be doing a web series through Twitch this year. And what we do is when the new Madden comes out, we throw all 32 teams in a hat, and we draw them one by one to come up with 16 matchups. And then we play those matchups, and the winners of those matchups go to the next round, and we redraw teams. And then finally we get to the Super Bowl, and it is some epic stuff that we've got going on. So we're doing that for Madden 19 when it comes out in August.
Also sounds like King of the Ring.
It kind of is. It's because people like to talk trash. Oh, I'm a great Madden player. All right, yeah, you can beat me in one game, but let's see how you can do in a whole season.
Or a tournament format.
Or a tournament format, absolutely, yeah. So it's a lot of fun. I think we're not the greatest Madden players in the world, but we definitely can entertain some people.
Oh, I'm far from it, but by the same token, here's the thing. I'm a very competitive person when I know the boundaries and the rules of engagement and all of my data for competition. Other than that, I will look you straight in the eye and go, yeah, I'm hell on novice mode over in Madden. That's where I started so I could get the basics down. And then as my skill level moves up, I will move up with it. And I'll start learning more and more about the game. Same thing when it came to Injustice, Gods Among Us, and Injustice 2. And see, for me personally, I enjoyed both games. Granted, they were a little bit one-dimensional to a great degree in certain facets of it. But other than that, it's kind of like, this is actually a fun little way to kill some time and replenish brain cells. But before I go any further, for everybody tuning in live or on replay, we hope everybody enjoyed a safe and peaceful 4th of July. Of course, the aftermath continues in more ways than one. I think in Birmingham, we had this little thing called Thunder on the Mountain. This year, the fireworks display looked good. The music, meh. The video production for WBRC Fox 6 left a lot to be desired. If you know that you're going to be using some type of camera from a distance for the wide shot, make sure the damn thing's in focus. I'm not kidding. The local Fox affiliate here in Birmingham, I am so sorry because I have friends who work there, and I know I'm not going to hear the end of this after this show is over with. My phone will probably go into pinball machine mode, but they had one cam building top that they were using, and lo and behold, the damn thing was out of focus the entire show. Whereas Macy's fireworks display in New York was a thing of beauty, bigger than last year and bigger than God. The thing is, the way that they set that one up is awesome. I would like to fly up next year for the 4th of July and get a boat and just watch this from the river. That's all I can say. It was that much fun to watch on television. So, lo and behold, yeah, I'll probably be in New York next year for 4th of July. A world of things actually to cover with a certain live event on the WWE Network on the horizon. Of course, Ring of Honor's got, with Ring of Honor having a brand new champion in Jay Lethal. Congratulations, Jay. And
With some scandal.
yeah, I know. I took some heat.
Yeah.
I took some heat for my commentary about Jay winning the championship. And before I get into all that, Shane, I made the threat. I was going to toss in your direction right after the intros. Mr. Noles, it's on you.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, it's been a while since we've been on the Shooters Gallery, and I know in Studio One there is a huge, lifelong fan of the Los Angeles Lakers.
I knew this
But
was
I am
coming.
curious to know your thoughts, sir, as a man we have brought up on more than one occasion on this very program in the form of LeBron James has taken his talents to Hollywood and is a member of the Lakers. So I ask you this, does he get a grace period with you before he pisses you off? Or are you mad off the start and he's going to have to win you over, so to speak?
Okay, and I'm going to be very clear about this. The man who plays on the court, I am a huge fan of. I genuinely believe he is one of the 5 best players in the National Basketball Association today. Legit. That is without doubt. I have said that from square one. I am not a fan of the circus that surrounds him. For him to take that 4-year, $154 million contract. Remember, he could have gotten 5 years, $200 million staying in Cleveland. So logistically speaking, he left about 10 on the table, not 50 like a lot of people are saying. My perspective is very simple. He has moved into the number 2 entertainment market in the country, one being New York. I had a conversation with a friend of mine earlier today. Birmingham is 61. I think just a little bit north of Paducah. First off,
We're losing you.
okay, I'm going to try it again. Better? Philip?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear. Yeah.
Okay. I had to readjust.
Sorry, I had to mute me, so I don't know if I screwed everything up or not.
No, your mute shouldn't have balanced in. It should have just muted you, not kicked everything else. The way that I'm looking at things right now, if LeBron James and the circus that he brings can shut up LeVar Ball, I will shake his mother freaking hand. I don't see Lonzo staying in L.A. for another year. Not after this. I see him having 1 year. That's it. Now, grace period? I don't know. If Magic laid down the law going, Luke is our guy. If the coach is the coach, I'm good with that. But we've seen, because remember what happened with Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra. Allegedly, LeBron tried to get Eric Spoelstra fired from down in Miami, and Pat said, no, he's our guy. He's our coach. Live with it. So if this groundwork has been put into place, that LeBron understands that Magic is the boss and Jeannie is the boss and the rest of the Lakers front office is the boss, then I'm all over it. But if he starts coming on board trying to call all the shots, same thing in Cleveland. Just look, leave the basketball on the court, and that's all I'll watch. The reason why Shane hits me with this question, kids, is because, first off, I am a huge Lakers fan. Right alongside of the fact that I'm a fan of the Spurs and the Hawks. Hawks I have been to watch in, back then, the Omni, then Phillips Arena. Matter of fact, one of the games was Hawks versus Spurs. Dream match. We lost that night. Spurs won, we lost. I was okay with that, figuratively speaking. But I was not a fan. I was pissed when the LA Lakers brought in Dwight Howard. I felt that Howard was overhyped, overpaid, overexposed, and any other than overly talented. That's why Shane has been curious to get my response. Grace period. Now, do I expect the Lakers to win a championship year one LeBron? No. I really don't. Do I see anybody beating? I don't expect the Lakers to get out of the West this year. Not unless 5 out of 5 of the starting lineup for the frickin' Golden State Warriors gets injured.
Boogie, baby!
Yeah, I thought that was a hell of an acquisition by the Golden State Warriors. I was hoping LeBron.
Oh, yeah, and the nice thing is we don't need him until he's going to be healthy anyway, so we can just let him get 150% healthy.
Yeah.
And we'll still be like 37-9 by the time he comes back.
That is possible.
I think it's ridiculous, and I said not like mocking. I just think like amazement that a center that is one of the top 5 in the league, averaging 25 points and 12 rebounds, signs with the defending champions for basically a mid-level exception, $5.3 million. I mean, you talk about stacks. I mean, like you said, that's
no one
5
reached out to
All-Stars
him.
off a roster of 12 last year.
No one reached out to him. So what does he do? He makes a phone call to Joe LaCobe, and boom, there you go. You got 1 year, $5.3 million, and you got a 98% chance of getting a ring.
Yeah, 98. I'll go with that. I mean, let's put the world in proper perspective. You know, all of sports radio is still jumping up and down about super teams and blah, blah, blah. And I knew, Shane, you and I had this discussion about, 6 weeks ago about Los Angeles? Mm-hmm. And my exact words were, it would not surprise me. I would rather him not go because of the circus that he brings to town. Because Los Angeles has a much more critical fan base than Cleveland ever did, with all due respect to our friends up in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's put the world in perspective. Cleveland has some very discerning fans, and it takes a lot to really get them negatively riled up. LA fans, now they'll get pissed at the drop of a hat because they can. They feel that they're entitled. But
Well, when he went back to Cleveland, that franchise had never won a title. So yes, say media expectations, so to speak. But, you know, you're talking about the Lakers have the second most championships in league history.
right.
There's expectations now for LeBron going there. I'm like you. I don't think they'll win a title year one. I mean, obviously a Kawhi Leonard trade could still be in the works, but what all are you going to have to give up to make that happen? But, I mean, I've always taken shots at LeBron for not going out west. I mean, kudos to him. I'll turn around and say it. Get out there and mix it up in the tough conference. I mean, there are some teams, the Pelicans, the Trailblazers, of course,
Rockets.
Golden State, Houston, Clippers. Yeah, they're just – it's a murderer's row out there in the West. So we'll see, how that transpires. I'm curious now to see, he's actually signed a 4-year deal if he stays all 4 years, because that would put him at the age of 38, and that would be the closing of his basketball career, I think.
Very possibly. But remember, I think his oldest one is playing in high school out on the West Coast right now in L.A.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if there is the most remote possibility, and everybody's just been marking out for this whole thing, about the slim possibility that LeBron could actually play 1 year with his son on the same team. Now, I think that would be awesome. I don't know how skill level that'll fall into play. But, I mean, let's put the world in perspective. Boston has a good chance coming back next year if everybody's healthy and stays put. Toronto, with the right leadership, can get past the first round. There's maybe 3 teams that I see really doing something in the East. Can they stack up to the West? I don't know. I really don't. I mean, it's like you've got the potential for super teams on the Eastern Seaboard or in the Eastern Conference, but I really don't see how the East can put something together to genuinely give, I mean, Houston, OKC, because they're better than their playoff record this year. Oklahoma City was better than that. How they got knocked out as quickly as they did, I don't know. But weird things.
Fun fact that probably only interests me is that LeBron's coach, Luke Walton, was taken 33 picks behind him in the very same draft in 2003.
Yeah, but let's also consider Luke Walton, son of the famous Hall of Famer Bill Walton. He was the guy that directed the Warriors to their 25 or 26-0 record when Kerr was on the bench dealing with the spinal fluid leak. So the dude can coach. And if LeBron goes down to LA and starts shaking trees saying, we need to get him, we need to get him out of LeBron doesn't know basketball then. So, yeah, there's a lot of intrigue in LA with LeBron and everything. But the problem is, it comes down to it's still the Golden State Warriors and everybody else. I don't see a team coming out of the East that does not get swept in the finals. Warriors are not. I don't see a team that comes out of the East that does not get swept in the finals next year. Oh, wait, breaking news from ESPN. They have just canceled the 2018-2019 NBA season and awarded the Golden State Warriors the title because what's the point?
Well, hey, for all those basketball nerds out there, I guess you may not see Golden State and Cleveland again this year or this coming season. Somebody who's been remarkably quiet. Philip, have anything you'd like to throw into the ring on this one?
Not at all. I almost started to go like, you said something like, well, the Lakers, and I was like, yeah. I don't follow. Basketball is not my game of choice.
See,
I will say this, the schedule has not come out yet, but I can so see opening night, Boston and Philadelphia in the early game, the 10:30 Eastern game being the Lakers and Golden State. All eyes on LeBron, and Golden State might run him out of the building. It's only one game, but they're going to want to stick it to it.
I don't want Golden State, LA Lakers on opening night. I want that a couple of weeks in. I want everybody to have a chance to get their legs underneath them. I don't care about spring training. I don't care about summer, all of the above. I want them to have a chance to really get their legs underneath them in a game circumstance, maybe 10 games in before this game transpires. But, of course, knowing television and their ever-ending intelligence and never-ending stupidity, they'll dream about this game. We can get Golden State versus LA, and we can get a marquee matchup on the opening day. No, stupid. You're not giving the guys a chance to actually play together. It's a difference between baseball and basketball.
I don't care if it's game 1. I don't care if it's game 10. I don't care if it's game 60. All I care about is that the Warriors do not raise the championship banner and hand out the rings until the Lakers walk into Oracle so they can rub it in his face yet again. I hate LeBron James. I hate everything about him. They call him a top 5 player.
Go.
He is the most selfish player in the history of the NBA. If you looked at all the games with a supposed broken hand in the final, he had half the team's points almost every single time. And it's not because he didn't have tools around him that could shoot the ball or that could make plays. It's because it's LeBron's world and everybody else is playing in it if you're on his team. And remember what I said a couple of years ago, it wasn't the Cleveland, or a couple of months ago, it's not the Cleveland Cavaliers, it's the LeBron James bitches. And that's what LA is about to turn into, is the LeBron James bitches 2.
Shane?
Well, when I said there we go, I was waiting for someone to take some unadulterated shots at LeBron. It had been too long in this conversation.
Well,
But,
I said, I'm just not a fan of the circus. And the thing I have to say about the selfish part is look at his numbers when it comes to assists. That's the only argument that I have.
It comes down to, okay, so the fact that he doesn't have the ball in his hands 50% of the time, he has the ball in his hands 80% of the time. That's why his assist numbers are so good. It's because everything has to go through LeBron.
Of course, he has an ego the size of the California coastline, so of course it fits for him to be in L.A.
Well, here I'm gonna make this analogy. Steph Curry is a better player than LeBron James.
Kevin Durant
The reason being is because before Durant showed up in Golden State, Steph Curry was paired with Monte Ellis. They traded Monte Ellis. They drafted Klay Thompson. Steph Curry took Klay Thompson under his wing and made them a great 1-2 punch. Then they got Draymond Green. Now you have Steph Curry leading a 1-2-3 punch. You bring Iguodala over from Denver. Now all of a sudden, Steph Curry is bringing all these guys. The ball doesn't have to go through them because they've got Klay who can hit from the outside. They've got Iguodala who can penetrate. They've got Draymond Green, who is a beast down in the center. Oh, yeah, let's go ahead and add Kevin Durant because Durant's mindset is if you can't beat him, join him. All right, cool, we'll do that. Oh, guess what happened? We won back-to-back NBA championships.
3 out of 4.
Now you bring in a 5th All-Star. You know, we're going to change the Warriors' name. It's not going to be the Golden State Warriors this year. It's the Golden State Warriors Western Conference All-Stars. And whoever wins the Western Conference Finals, you might as well just hand the trophy to whoever that is.
Yeah, it's going to be a slightly intriguing system. And by the way, for the season. And by the way, for the record, I don't think you actually caught what I said. That's what, and I actually made the statement. There are times when LeBron James does have an ego the size of the California coastline. That's why it makes sense that he's playing in L.A. now. You didn't think I would let that one totally go, did you, Shane?
Not at all.
Okay.
And I'm with you on television. Come Christmas Day, that 5:30 Eastern game on ABC worldwide will be either the Lakers playing Golden State or Cleveland. No other matchup.
You know, hard subject change real quick. And this is something that I was reading one of the sheets earlier today, and they had an interview apparently with Kenny Omega that made the comment, and I quote, "Not working for WWE would be a missed opportunity." He's made the statement that at some point he would love to be able to go to work with WWE. He'd love to be able to work with people like Seth Rollins and AJ Styles in that environment. And I believe it was on the Ross Report that the lines were taken from. Quote, "When I think about the possibilities of stuff like that, as in heading to WWE, it gets me excited." His words. "Every promotion has so many good guys that there's no way I would have a bad time going almost anywhere because the depth to the talent is so deep. WWE right now has a great collection of talent. I would feel like it's a missed opportunity if I couldn't work with them at some point." Lo and behold, I have to remind myself every once in a while that is an individual who wrestled a blow-up doll, which is not the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. We've seen dumber.
I thought that was Kota Ibushi.
I thought it was Kenny Omega.
Kota Ibushi take 3 Canadian destroyers from a blow-up doll. And I can't believe that sentence just even came out of my mouth.
Yeah, I know. Couldn't be a sex bot. It had to be a blow-up doll. Because the sex bot.
Well, the sex bots aren't as flexible yet.
Yeah,
you can't get them into that pile driver to power bomb position that easy.
Yeah, sex bot
from
would
what
actually.
I hear.
From what you hear.
Not from experience.
Nice hangout there, Ted. At this point in time, if it were to happen tomorrow, which show, better yet, I'll scratch, which show would Kenny Omega be more suited to work with, blue brand or red brand? Phil, I'll go to you first.
Well, I mean, my first instinct was I would say SmackDown because that's where AJ Styles is, and to lead them into a program. But I'm gonna say Red Brand. I think it would make more sense. New Japan is the number 2 company of the world, so there would be some value in putting him then on the number 1 brand, which actually over the next year is going to be changing anyway as they prepare for their launch of SmackDown on Fox, which the press release they put out was saying that was their lead show. So, or their preeminent show, I think is maybe the word they used or something like that. I was like, that's interesting. The show you've been telling us for years and years and years, and even in promos teasing that's the A show. Now you're going to try to flip that script a little bit to prepare for its transition over to Fox.
Tedrick.
I'm going to go so far as to say Omega will sign with WWE, and he will be a surprise debut on SmackDown's first episode in 2019. So there's my answer. I think he would be better suited for SmackDown, and I think that's where he'll end up going as a debut surprise. Because what better way to draw ratings than 100 million people going on Twitter going, holy bleep, it's Kenny Omega on SmackDown.
Shane.
And you don't save him for the end. You lead off the show with him as a surprise. Get that Twitter pop, get that social media pop, push that all the way to the main event for Kenny Omega's first one-on-one match with AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, Samoa Joe. The list goes on because SmackDown's depth is deeper.
Shane.
Well, Ted just stole it out of my playbook. Same thing, SmackDown, first show on Fox. What better way? That's exactly where I was going. So I will bow out now for repeating.
It's scary how much Shane and I think alike.
I will say SmackDown also due to the fact that I think that the chemistry involved in SmackDown, even without Paige as general manager, would be it's the temperament suits Omega's style a little bit better. I'm going to use this phrase that I get in trouble for every once in a while, but it's like Raw for a 3-hour show has a certain pacing. SmackDown can feel balls to the wall without it being balls to the wall. I know that's almost a paradoxical statement laid out there. But if you look and genuinely pay attention, you'll see what I mean. I love the fact that I think SmackDown is the only show still that actually does the picture-in-a-picture when they go to commercial breaks on some matches. I'm surprised Raw did not do that first. It's like, damn, I'm surprised NASCAR is the only company that's really doing that. Oh, wait, now SmackDown's doing it. Here we go.
Well, SmackDown is where they're testing stuff to see if it will really go over. Again, for their A show, which is Raw.
Allegedly.
Right. In the new narrative, or in the old narrative. But, I mean, yes, will the arrival of Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks be like a talking point that'll get a lot of attention? Yes. Okay, where'd they go from there? I really don't know. I mean, I'm still a holdout under the belief of the only reason AJ Styles kept his job was because he made Roman Reigns look really good. To the surprise of Vince McMahon. In many respects, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, have spurned and turned up their nose at the WWE, and Vince has just a little too much ego to kind of be nice enough to let that slide. I feel like he wouldn't get them. I mean, I think the Young Bucks he would look at like, oh, these are the new rockers. Just because I look at their own talent. I look at NXT and I'm like, everybody loves Patrick Clark. I mean, everybody loves him. But he's going to get to WWE and he's either going to be the Black Fandango or he's going to be, at best, Rick the Model Martel because Vince won't understand it. In my opinion.
All right, I throw this one out there because you mentioned both sets of names, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, like they're a package deal. This is a two-parter, and I'll go around the horn on both of them. I want WWE to sign the Young Bucks because, Ted.
I don't.
That's the next question.
I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, all right, I'm done until the next question.
Okay.
I don't.
Shane.
I mean, I think a feud down the road with the Hardys and the Young Bucks is too easy to pass up.
Philip?
I don't think the Bucks should go to WWE.
That's
They're
the
not
next
my call.
question.
It has taken, in some other dealings of things, it has taken the wife of, I'm going to mess it up, one of them to kind of get their merchandising together for like Cody and for Cody and Kenny and the Bucks themselves. And that's kind of pushed them. I think the only reason that there's more scuttlebutt is the fact that they sold out All In so fast. And that made people go, including the WWE, go, oh, you mean there's more to them that we can utilize? They do have some buzz / draws interest to them that we could utilize. As if, we didn't know that, but I think that's the only reason why anybody's interested. It's a money-making ploy. It's the same reason why WWE 10 years ago was only hiring writers that wrote for SpongeBob SquarePants, because they were the number 2 show on cable, and they weren't really having them write in the same way that you would expect. They just took them away from writing from SpongeBob.
Okay, flip side of the coin. I don't think that WWE should sign the Young Bucks because, Shane.
Because they'd have to work the Hardys. No, I'm just kidding. I agree. I don't think Vince would see them for what they are and truly doesn't understand.
Philip.
I'm right there. Plus, I'm of a different opinion of, they made a lot of mistakes as younger people, as all younger people do, and they burned some bridges, and they kind of carried that with them in their persona today, even though I think they handle themselves more professionally today. But they're always going to have that stigma against them. But I'll be honest, in their pantheon of matches, I feel like you could grab your own NXT guys and do 5 times better. I think there's 5 times enough better talent across the independent scene versus getting from the Young Bucks. The only thing you really get from the Young Bucks is a noted personality.
Ted.
I don't think the Young Bucks even deserve to be in the business, to be honest with you. And the reason is all they are is a bunch of flashy super kicks and a retread of 3 old gimmicks that were cool at one point but not anymore. So, really, what do they bring to the table? Oh, yeah, they sold out. No, they didn't sell out nothing. Cody Rhodes and Kenny Omega sold out, and the possibility of CM Punk making an appearance in Chicago sold out All In. The Young Bucks didn't have anything to do with it. They're just lucky to have jobs and have someone like Kenny Omega who lets them ride their coattails. If they had any talent, they would be doing this stuff on their own without all the flashy super kicks and actually working, not just playing phony wrestler. I have no respect for those guys.
See, I enjoyed a lot of what they did in Impact Wrestling, in TNA, because they had to change their style just a little bit to learn how to tell a story. Depending on who they're facing, that would be the factor that predicates how good their match is going to be. Keyword good and or memorable. When you're dealing in a circumstance like this, no. I don't think the Young Bucks should be signed by WWE because I think the furthest legitimately that they could go and genuinely mesh in the chemical equation would be NXT. I've said this before. I'll say it one more time this week. There are some people who go to NXT who don't mesh on the main roster chemical equation. There are some that go through NXT that you can't wait to see on the main roster because you know they'll mesh. You know that there are people on the main roster that once they get up there, they're going to have hella matches. Do I see them having that barn burner with the Hardys? Of course. I think it's been done before. Matter of fact, I remember when it was done just before Mania recently, which actually was a good match in the Broken Universe. Do I see them genuinely? I mean, they could have a good match with the Fashion Police. Could they have a saleable match with the Usos? Yes, because Jimmy and Jay are that damn good. Could they have a saleable match with the Bludgeon Brothers? No. No. Sorry. No. Could they have had a saleable match with Sheamus and Cesaro? Yeah, because they were that good, especially Cesaro. I could go down the list. We could play the game with Gallows and Anderson. I hate the fact that Gallows and Anderson have been so horribly misused on the main roster.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look.
So it's interesting that, we basically brought up the entire Bullet Club, but the only one we haven't talked about is Marty Scurll. And I think he's the best one of them that would fit into the WWE product.
I think that Marty would fit in well in the NXT formula. I'm not sure about SmackDown, and I know Raw would not fit. Counterpoint?
I feel differently. I think he isn't an over-the-top personality, and he has that technical edge. I think he, if used right, he could be the heel British Daniel Bryan.
Okay. You're assuming that WWE main roster could use him properly.
Yeah. That is the challenge, but I think that is an easier transition than some others.
I think SmackDown, yes. Raw, no. It's weird because whether people choose to believe it or not, there are some people who fit different shows. And that's the way I've always looked at this business. Let's play this. I go to PWX in North Carolina. There's people that I can easily see fitting in up there because I've watched a couple of their shows and I've watched some of the videos. And there's people that come out, it's like, okay, this is going to be a one-hit wonder. Same thing at AWE, Peach State Wrestling Alliance, Scenic City. When it was in function, Global Championship Wrestling. There are people that I see that mesh with the presentation methodology that is in place. And others that I sit back and go, okay, this should be a good match, but I don't see long form. And I say the same thing about Ring of Honor, Lucha Underground, Impact, doesn't matter. Because I study it that closely. Yes, I'm a nerd, who cares? But let's go and go. Let's open that one up. You brought up Scurll. Let's go ahead and do that one. Shane, your thoughts. Marty Scurll, NXT, Raw, SmackDown.
NXT.
Tedrick?
I don't know. I could see him going, I could see him doing NXT or SmackDown. I don't think he would fit on Raw.
Like I said, NXT definite, SmackDown definite, Raw no. I think he would have to change his own equation a little bit too much to fit in on Raw regardless. He'd get a great pop for the first 2 weeks. After that, Raw Creative wouldn't have a damn thing that they could offer him. And look, I'm all in favor of making money. I will never begrudge anybody an opportunity to make money. I will pray that people make more money in this business. But when it comes down to it and everything is said and done, you have certain parameters in play about longevity. Sure, we'll sign him to a 6-month deal. Okay, 6 months, you're making money. Month number 7, unless they can figure the crap out, And aloha means. But they don't do 6-month deals. Unless you're James Ellsworth. And even those should be 6-minute contracts.
Because so far, all of the positives you say on this show about SmackDown, I completely negate with the fact that they had to use James Ellsworth to put over their champion Carmella because of all of that. Like, there's no way you can spin to me how great and much better SmackDown is than Raw or anything like that, because their current women's champion shouldn't be inside of a wrestling ring, who is managed by a guy who shouldn't be on wrestling.
Raw had Big Dick Johnson,
who was a writer.
I know.
He had an actual other purpose.
I know.
And they used him as a stunt, and then he booked himself into that role.
Look, I can't defend SmackDown or WWE in any capacity for bringing James Ellsworth back. They made the mistake of putting the damn women's title on Dee Snider, okay? And I'm never going to let that rest. I'm sorry. I will ride that horse ad nauseum.
I will say, and I hope I'm not alone on this. We have discussed this. They've been together a couple of months now, but it's refreshing for me, and I have really enjoyed the Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre period. And I thought they were headed for tag team gold. Surprised the heck out of me that Ziggler getting the Intercontinental title, and I can't help but think when you brought up about the Universal title, that program should be for the Universal title. Those guys are that good, both former world champions.
Who wants to take first crack?
I do, because I've been thinking about this, and really, what I see this being is soon to be a babyface turn for McIntyre, because what better way to reintroduce him and actually acknowledge history than by having him beat Ziggler for the first title he ever won in WWE?
Philip?
I could see that happening as soon as SummerSlam.
Not that soon.
If they did it that soon, you would get the finger poke of death. I think they would play it off against each other and Dolph loses it to, he basically gives the title to him as a way to haha, look at us. In storyline, to me, that makes some sense. I think it would be too soon for SummerSlam.
I think it was a mistake for them to bring Drew up as a heel.
No.
But I think this is going to be, I think it's just a quick turn.
No.
Quick run as a heel, establish him, get him, see what kind of reaction he gets, reestablish him with the universe, and then all of a sudden, you have him pull the trigger on a Monday Night Raw, maybe right after Extreme Rules or something to set it up. Or you just start sowing the seeds of dissent. I think if they did that, it would be better than if they just had, Ziggler give him the title and then retire or whatever he's going to do as just kind of a, middle finger to the fans. That doesn't make sense to alienate your audience like that, especially when you have the ability to draw money, which it all comes back down to.
Shane?
Oh, I could see a Drew McIntyre babyface turn down the road. I mean, everything about the music, the look, the work rate, I mean, it's there for them. I would like to see he and Ziggler. Yeah, again, that whole Intercontinental title thing surprised me. Not a whole lot surprises me anymore. I thought they would build them up as the Raw Tag Team Champions.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised on that one, too. A short version of the story for me, I brought this one up on BR Live Sunday. The Dolph Ziggler, Seth Rollins IC title match should have been a Universal Heavyweight Championship match. It was that freaking good. I like the way, and this is where the fans come into play more than creative and booking. Same thing, but different. Because booking's not always creative, and creative can't always book. You've got people that will cheer Dolph Ziggler no matter what. Logistically, I'm one of them. Because I respect his talent. I respect his personality. The way he carries himself. Remember, a couple of years back, when Dolph Ziggler was working heel along with AJ Lee and Big E, and his music hit night after Mania to cash in Money in the Bank. I might as well have been in that arena along with everybody else because I was not in my chair. I was up applauding. It's not the fact that I couldn't stand Alberto Del Rio. It's the fact I couldn't stand Alberto Del Rio as a damn babyface. It didn't work.
I couldn't stand him ever.
I liked him in the early going when he was trying to be the Mexican aristocratic millionaire who was so condescending and one-sided that it just worked. But then as time
Actually,
went,
let me rephrase that. I like the gimmick. I'd never thought of him as a good talent.
yeah, it was obvious that. Go ahead.
Ricardo Rodriguez was the best part of that act.
Yeah, I know. I was about to say that.
Well, that also because he stole from me, but that
Blah,
he doesn't
blah.
steal from me.
You took 85%
You
of
know
my
I
answer.
was doing that first.
What?
The long, overdrawn out ring announcement. See how long you could carry a certain syllable. I was doing that first.
Because I was doing that back in the late 80s.
Hey, I was still doing it first. I did it before Ricardo.
You were 3 years old at the time. The only syllable you were holding out was wah. Okay.
Hey, I didn't know you did it, so you did it before I did. But hey, I still did it before Ricardo.
Hey, look, I was impressed with the fact that Vinny Bucci, the announcer for Universal Championship Wrestling in Griffin, actually used the word trifecta, and Michael Cole, he used it in the proper sense. And yes, I smacked him on the head and said, "That's my shit."
You know who got Vinny Bucci into wrestling, don't you?
Let me guess, you?
Exactly. I invited him down to the Underground Training Center when he was a intern on Rock 92 Rock or whatever that radio station was in Atlanta.
Okay, so
And
I'll
he
blame
came down.
you.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. He got into the ring with Tracy Taylor teaching the class, and he kicked ass. I give that dude nothing but props. So I'm actually happy to see that he's doing something in the business.
Yeah, he's working with you. I was there Saturday night in Griffin, Georgia. Probably you're about 450,
Right
475.
about my old house.
450, 475, and no freaking air conditioning. None.
Yep, that's Griffin. I'm surprised. I wish I had known you were going to go because I would have given you my old address. You could have firebombed my house.
Oh, okay, cool.
Because I used to live maybe a half a mile from that dump.
Talking about the Taylor Street gym?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
used to live. I don't even remember the name of the road, but it was. It's I don't know, one of those roads right there by the gym, half a mile.
Tell you what, we are 10 minutes before the top of the hour on this live edition of the Shooter's Gallery. Fast Study Layne, Shane Noles, Philip Stamper, and Ted Guinness on this Thursday night affair. Of course, glad to be back in the saddle after a little bit of a hiatus. I do want to go ahead and shift gears just a little bit because I know, Phil, you've got a major one coming up in 2 weeks at MCW. I was originally supposed to be working a live event this coming Saturday in Huntsville, Alabama. It was actually going to be a charity fundraiser, and this one actually has been postponed because another company decided to book Jack Swagger 10 minutes up the road. And it's like, okay, fundraiser's one thing, but we can't go head-to-head with that, even on a fundraiser for a cancer benefit. So that one's going to be rebooked for RIW. But I want to go ahead and take it to a lighter note because we've been a little bit serious this first hour, and I'm kosher with that 9 times out of 10. So I'm going to throw it to our resident trivia master, catching him completely and totally off guard, and ask him, do you have one ready?
Always, good sir.
Then I will hit this piece of music. Bring it on, my friend.
Let's start out with an animals question. What is the longest snake species known to man? Is that the boa constrictor, the reticulated python, or the green anaconda?
If you want to answer, say your name.
Philip.
Anaconda. My anaconda don't want none of it. No way.
Ted Guinness, incorrect.
Oh!
Phil, you pop
You're
second.
Mix-a-Lot, you let me down.
The choices were reticulated python and what else?
The boa constrictor and the green anaconda.
I'm gonna say I'll say the reticulated python.
Bill Stamper, correct.
Ding, 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 ding.
I will
Question.
move to song titles, and I will ask you first, Eddie.
Okay. Oh, he's going directly to me on this
Released
one.
Released by a solo artist, what song won the first and only Grammy Award ever for Best Disco Recording?
Give me that one more time.
Released by a solo artist, what song won the first and turned out to be only Grammy Award ever for Best Disco Recording?
I know what I want to say, and I'm torn between 3 songs. Are you brave enough to put this into multiple choice, or should I take my shot?
You should take your shot.
Barry White, Love's Theme.
Incorrect.
Damn it! All right, Phil, Ted, take a shot, guys, because I've got number 2 ready to go.
I'm going to say that it was Donna Summer's Hot Stuff.
Love that song.
Right,
Incorrect.
right artist, wrong song, right? Right, Shane?
No, not the right artist.
Oh, I'll be damned. Philip, take a shot.
I almost want to say now because they don't like things that are actually fun. Because I was gonna say it was probably something like Macho Man or YMCA, but I feel like
Solo artist.
I think Macho Man wasn't a solo. Anyway,
Village People, 5 men on the front.
oh really? Okay. I'm not sure. Could you, since all of us have failed, can you give us a clue?
1980 was the year.
Durr?
See, how does he get a clue after Eddie and I already answered, but he hasn't even taken a guess yet?
Oh, theoretically he did because he went with Village People, and even though that was disqualified due to the fact that it was a group as opposed to a solo.
Right.
Oh.
So, I said I was going to do with one of the two, and then you said they were a group, and then I didn't know an answer. So then I said, hey, what if we get a clue and we start all over with our guesses after the clue?
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that part. I'm on my headset. I can't hear nothing.
And you're playing Fortnite.
And I'm shoveling corn in my mouth, so. Perfecta!
I've got 2 that I want to go with. The other one is a sentimental favorite. The other is a logical linear choice because I know it was a top 10 song for this artist in that year. So I'm going to sit back and say, Call Me by Blondie.
Also incorrect.
Ted, got a shot?
God, 70s disco hit, solo artist. This is hard for me because I'm a huge disco geek. I got nothing. I can't think of a good solo.
I've got one that I really want to go with, but I'm just... When you said 1980, it threw me. But Philip, go ahead.
So there's something that's in my brain, but I don't know if I even consider it a disco song. So if it's 1980, I Will Survive?
Gloria Gaynor.
Correct. By
19
Gloria Gaynor. That is correct.
Originally released in 1979, so it must have won in 1980, which would make perfect sense.
There's no reason I should have known that.
No, actually, like I said, because when he said 1980, I'm sitting back going, there's 2 that come to mind right now. And the first one was Yvonne Elliman, If I Can't Have You. The second one was actually Gloria Gaynor, I Will Survive, because that is actually one of the 20 most performed karaoke tracks of all time right now.
But see, that also brings up a huge plot hole in that 70s show. Because if that was released in 1979, they had a flashback that would have been somewhere between 1976 and 1978, where Fez was daydreaming and Gloria Gaynor was doing I Will Survive. So that right there, we need to call Chris Hansen from Dateline NBC and get this investigated. Speaking of which, let me throw this out there just as a possible topic for later. Just discussing this at work with my colleagues, and we were asking ourselves, what would be one of the most awkward situations in just random everyday life for Chris Hansen to walk into a room?
A christening.
Ooh, that's good. Let's think of like a job interview would be one.
Okay, I do stand corrected because I will survive. According to Wikipedia, which of course we know nothing on Wikipedia is ever wrong. This one is listed as being released in October of 1978, but I also have a Billboard Top 10 1979 that has it on there.
Maybe it didn't chart until 90, even though it was released in 78, maybe it didn't chart till 79.
Well, let's face it, Bruno Mars Happy was playing as new song of the year for 3 years. So,
And then by the same token, remember the year the Grammys actually released, actually put up a song by, Jethro Tull for Metal Song of the Year 6, 7, 8 years ago.
Yeah, that was, what the hell was that? I still think Lars Ulrich is in therapy for that.
Lars Ulrich is still in therapy for freaking Napster. What are you talking about?
I don't think he feels one damn bit bad about the whole Napster thing.
Nobody feels crap about the Napster thing. Look, especially not Metallica. Why do you think they released Revenge of Saint Anger? That was just to piss off the file sharers because that was not a Metallica album.
Dude, that was like 10 years after Napster. They released Saint Anger because Jason left the band because James wouldn't let him do his own Echo Brain project. And so they were breaking down. James went into rehab during that period. It was just Lars and Kurt trying to figure out what the hell they were going to do. James comes out of rehab. They hire Robert Trujillo, a.k.a. Roman Reigns, to play bass, and they put that crap out. And then they put out the Death Magnetic, and then they realized, what the hell are they doing? And then the last one they put out was actually somewhat decent. But, dude, you are 10 years off your Metallica timeline.
No. I know I'm 10 years.
Trust me, I am a living, breathing, die-hard Metallica nut. I have done research papers on these guys. I don't need Wikipedia. I can drop facts.
Look, I stopped being a full-scale active Metallica fan on the Black Album because Ride the Lightning is still one of the better albums, period. And if you'd like to go and go tit for tat, I also have a first generation Kill 'Em All with Am I Evil. The song that was
by that. All right, that's cool. But no, Master of Puppets was their flagship album. Ride the Lightning was second.
Injustice
of
for
course,
All.
you know me. I use Devil's Dance as my entrance music, so Reload part of Reload has a little bit of a special place in my heart for me. But yeah, you're right. Pretty much anything up to the Black Album was epic, with the exception of Lars dropping Jason's bass by 12 or 15 decibels on Justice for All.
Right.
But yeah, everything after that, it was hit or miss. They had some good stuff, good one-hit wonder stuff, but they were just all over the map because you could tell there was something wrong in their head.
Well, tell you what, let's go ahead and do this part real quick because we are at the top of the hour, and the way that we normally do things around here, folks, the show itself is probably going to run 90 minutes to 2 hours. However, because of the fact that we do put the first hour on YouTube, we'll go ahead and do a traditional sign-off, so to speak, with all of us doing shameless plugs and upcoming appearances. So I'm going to go ahead and throw it like this. Shane Noles, shameless plugs.
Useless Trivia will be back on normal schedule. This week, the holiday took us off for Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll be back with trivia Monday nights at Locomex in Jacksonville, Alabama, 7 o'clock Central Time. Tuesday nights at Locomex in Jacksonville, Alabama, 8 o'clock Central Time for Taco Tuesday. And Wednesdays at 7 o'clock Central over in Bowden, Georgia for Locomex Useless Trivia. As for pro wrestling, I am actually off, I think, this upcoming week. Nothing in the books, but looks like Peach State Wrestling Alliance will be getting back underway in the month of August. For myself, you can reach me, Shane Noles, on Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, as well as ShaneNoles@gmail.com.
Phil Stamper, shameless plugs, upcoming appearances.
you can always follow me online on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Instagram and Snapchat at PS Phenom. That's PSPHENOM, and on Facebook at Desk of Phil Stamper. This coming Saturday, the 7th, I am at Real Shoot Wrestling in Fairmont, West Virginia. And then next weekend, the 13th and 14th, is MCW's biggest event of the year, the 2-day Shane Shamrock Memorial Cup at the MCW Arena at 1000 Joppa Farm Road in Joppa, Maryland.
Ted Guinness.
All right, so since I actually have to leave the show after this, I'm going to make this a legit shameless plug. For some reason, if anyone in Idaho is listening, I will be appearing with my band, the Cokes and Smokes Project, next Thursday night for open mic night starting at 7 o'clock at the Ironwood Social on Glenwood Boulevard in Garden City, Idaho. You can check them out on Facebook. They're a pretty cool venue, family-friendly show, so bring the kids down. Also, you can check out my band, the Cokes and Smokes Project, on Facebook. Just do a search for the Cokes and Smokes Project. If you click on the Learn More button on that page, you will get taken to our SoundCloud account where we have put 5 songs. One of them is 2 songs combined, including my debut song of me actually singing, so you may want to hide your pets. But Imposition, which is actually, we only have 31 listens on it right now, but hey, that was the quickest we ever got to 31 listens, and that song got us an invite to a couple of gigs. So do us a favor, check us out, spread the word, the Cokes and Smokes Project on Facebook, and that's all I got.
At Beyond Ringside on Twitter, Facebook.com/Beyond Ringside Live, and of course, home site is BeyondRingside.com and ProWrestlingRadio.net. For me personally, come say hi tomorrow night, Friday night, July the 6th at Buffalo Wild Wings in Alabaster, Alabama. Friday Night Karaoke and the Friday Night Karaoke Challenge. It's not a contest, it's a challenge. It's a raffle. Karaoke starts at 9. The challenge starts at 10. And for me on social media, don't even try it. Facebook.com/FastEddieLayne is the easy way to find me. And, of course, my home site is FastEddieLayne.com. For those on the live side, hang with us. We'll be back in about 7 minutes. For those on the pre-recorded side, come find us. Stations are easily available through about 16 different apps, including both home sites. HTML5 players are Android, Apple, BlackBerry, and Amazon and Windows Media compliant. Check us out when you get a chance to, and catch all of the live programming right here on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. Hour 2, right around the corner. For Shane Noles, Phil Stamper, and Ted Guinness, this is Fast Eddie Layne saying hang tight. The Shooters Gallery continues, and we thank you for going Beyond Ringside.
This is Dr. Tom Pritchard, and if you want to listen to the best in professional wrestling, get locked in to Beyond Ringside.
When planning your next party or special event, insist on the best. Full Range Entertainment is a professional entertainment company providing a full range of services. From professional disc jockeys and MCs to catering and photography, when the details of your special day must be perfect, call us first. Wedding receptions, corporate parties, school functions, birthday celebrations, and more. We also have Birmingham's largest selection of karaoke tracks available. With over 40 years combined experience, Full Range Entertainment can provide you with the talent and professionalism you need and deserve to make your next event one you'll never forget. For more information on the full range of services we offer, call 533-HITS. That's 533-HITS. Or check us out on our website at fullrangeentertainment.com.
This is Country Jack, Corey Hollis, and you are locked in to Beyond Ringside.
What's up, everybody? It's Stan Grubb for Corner to Corner Wrestling Radio and the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. Hey, join us every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as the triple threat of wrestling radio goes live every week, giving you their thoughts and opinions on the world of professional wrestling. Myself, Brian, and Rob, all live, all here for you. And as my good friend Rob would say, from corner to corner and pillar to post, we bring it to you every week at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. BeyondRingside.com and ProWrestlingRadio.net.
This is Larry Goodman, GWH News and Notes, and you're locked in to Beyond Ringside.
If you really want to get raw on Monday nights, tune into the Beyond Ringside Radio Network at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 8:30 Central Time for the Midnight Black Mass Podcast. Myself, the Reverend Dan the Dragon Wilson, along with the Strong Style Psycho Tank and Andrew Alexander, bring you a truly blood-curdling experience uncensored, uncut, and only on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network.
Hey, half-heads, it's a 3-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion, Scrapline Adam Pearce, and just like me, you are locked in Beyond Ringside.
Howdy, friends. It's the Magic City Motor Mouth Fast Eddie Layne with your invitation to join me, Mark Mabo Bowman, and Brooks Logan Sunday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern for Beyond Ringside Live. Wrestling, mixed martial arts, sports talk, and a whole lot more. Find us on BeyondRingside.com, ProWrestlingRadio.net, and the Beyond Ringside Radio app for Amazon, Android, BlackBerry, and a whole lot more. Once again, that's Sundays, 6:30 p.m. Eastern for Beyond Ringside Live on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network and ProWrestlingRadio.net.
This is Evan Ginsberg, associate producer of the movie The Wrestler, host of Legends Radio and Legends TV, and you're locked into Beyond Ringside.